హాయ్ ఫ్రెండ్స్, మనం ఈరోజు యు ఆర్ ద ప్లాసిబో అన్న పుస్తకంలో నుంచి మరికొన్ని విషయాల్ని మనం నేర్చుకుందాం. సో యు ఆర్ ద ప్లాసిబో. So reality can be a bit of a moving target. So literally we are used to think of reality as something fixed and certain. But as you will soon see in this chapter, the way we have always been taught to see uh, it is not the way it is really is. And if you are going to learn how to be your own placebo by using your mind to affect matter, it is vital that you understand the true nature of reality, how mind and matter are related, and how reality can shift. So because if you don't know how and why those shift occurs, you won't be able to be direct any outcomes according to your intentions. Before we dive into the quantum universe, let us take a look. So before we dive into the quantum universe, let us take a look at where our ideas about reality came from and where they have brought us so far. Thanks to Rene Descartes and Sir Isaac Newton, for centuries the study of the universe was divided into two categories, matter and mind. The study of matter was declared the realm of science because, for the most part, the laws of the universe that governs the objective outworld would be calculated and therefore predicted. But the inner realm of the mind was considered too unpredictable. So, before we dive into the quantum universe, let's take a look at where our ideas about reality came from and where they have brought us so far. So, thanks to Rene Descartes and Sir Isaac Newton, for centuries, uh, the study of the universe was divided into two categories, declared the realm of science, because, for the most part, the laws of universe that govern the object world could be calculated and therefore predicted. But the inner realm of the mind was considered too unpredictable and complicated. So it was therefore left to the auspicious of religion. Over time, matter and mind became a separate entities, and dualism was born. Newton mechanics and deals with the mechanics of how objects function in the space and time, including their interactions with each other in the material physical world. Because of Newton's law, we can measure and predict what path planets take around the sun, how quickly an apple accelerates when it falls from a tree, and how long it takes to go from Seattle to New York by plane. Newtonian physics is about predictable. It looks at the universe as if it functioned like an enormous mission or a huge timepieces. But classical physics has its limitation when it is comes to the study of energy, the action of the immaterial world beyond space and time, and the behavior of atoms. The realm belongs to the quantum physics, and it turns out This very tiny subatomic world of electrons and protons does not behave anything like a much larger world of planets, apples, and airplanes that we are more familiar with. When quantum physics began to look at the smaller and smaller aspect of an atom, like what makes up the nucleus, the closer they looked, the less distinct and clear atom became until eventually it just completely disappeared. Atoms that tell us appear to be 99.9999% empty space. But the space, it's not really empty, it's actually filled with energy. More specifically, it is made up of a vast array of energy frequency that form a kind of invisible interconnected field of information. So, if every atom is 99.999% energy of information, that means that our known universe and everything in it, no matter how solid and that matter may appear to us, is essential just energy and information. So that's a scientific fact. Atoms do contain a smattering of matter. But when the quantum physics tries to study it, they discover something really strange. Subatomic matter in the quantum world does not behave anything at all like matter we are used to deal with. Instead of adhering to laws of Newtonian physics, it appears somewhat chaotic and unpredictable, completely disregarding the boundaries of the time and space. In fact, on the subatomic quantum level, matter is a momentary phenomenon. It is here one moment and then it disappears. It exists only as a tendency, a probability, or a possibility in the quantum. There are no absolute physical things. So, that was not the only strange discovery scientists made about the quantum universe. They also found that when they observed the particles of subatomic matter, they could affect or change their behavior. So, the reason they are here on gone is that all of the particles actually exist simultaneously in the infinite ray of possibilities or probabilities within the invisible and infinite quantum field of energy. It's only when an observer focuses attention on any one location of any one election that electron actually appear in that place, look away, and subatomic matter disappear back to energy. So, according to this observe effect, physical matter can't exist or manifest until we observe it. It's a very good point. Observe effect. Physical matter can't exist or manifest until we observe it. Until we notice it and give it our attention, and when we are no longer paying attention to it, it vanishes, going back from whence it came. So, matter is constantly transforming, oscillating between the manifesting into matter and the disappearing. So, once again, I explain this concept. According to this observe effect, physical matter can't exist or manifest until we observe it, until we notice it and give it our attention. And when we are no longer paying attention to it, it vanishes. So going back from where from hence it came. So matter is constantly transforming, oscillating between the manifesting into matter and disappearing into energy. And so, because human mind is then intimately connected to the behavior and appearance of matter, you could say that mind over matter is a quantum reality. Another way to look at it is this: in the tiny world of quantum, the subjective mind has an effect on objective reality. Your mind can become matter, that is, you can make your mind matter. Since subatomic matter can make up everything we can see, touch, and experience in our micro world, so world also are also doing this disappearance, disappearing and reappearing act all the time. And so, if subatomic particles exist in an infinite number of possible places simultaneously, then in some way so do we. And just the particle go from existing everywhere in simultaneously. To exist precisely is paying attention. We are also potentially capable of collapsing infinite number of potential reality into physical existence. In other words, if you can imagine a particular future event that you want to experience in your life, that reality already exists as a possibility somewhere in the quantum field. Beyond this space and time, just waiting for you to observe it. If your mind can affect when and where an electron appear out of now here, then theoretically you should able to be influence the appearance of any number of possibilities that you can imagine. So from the quantum perspective, if you observe yourself in the particular new future that was different from your past, expected the reality to occur, and then emotionally embraced the outcome you had be for a moment living in that future reality, you had be conditioning your body to believe it was in that future present moment. So quantum model which state that all possibility exists in this moment gives us permission to choose a new future and observe it into reality. And because the entire universe is made up of atoms with no more than 99% of being energy or possibility, that means there is a lot of potential out there that you and I might be missing. However, this also means that you create by default as well. If you, as a quantum observer, you look at your life from the same level of mind every day, then according to the quantum model of reality, you are used causing the infinite possibility collapse into the same pattern of information day in night out. Those patterns which you call your life never change. So never allow to you to affect the change. Oh. So, mental rehearsal I talk about early is a certainly not idle daydreaming or wishful thinking. It is, in any real sense, the way you can intentionally manifest your desired reality, including a life without pain or disease, by focusing more on what you do want and less on what don't want. You can call into existence whatever you desire and simultaneously fade away What you don't want be no longer giving your attention. Where you place your attention, where you place your energy, once you fix your attention or your awareness, your mind on possibility, you place your energy, there is a well. So as a result, you are affecting the matter with your attention or observation. Placebo effect is not a fantasy, then it is a quantum reality. So placebo effect is not a fantasy, then it's a quantum reality. So all atoms in the elementary world. Okay, very nice. All atoms. I have a thousand millions of subscribers. Entire YouTube supports me. All atoms in the elementary world emit various electromagnetic energies. For example, so congratulations 56 million subscribers. So I'm very happy to share with your million subscribers. Thank you. I'm so happy. All atoms in the external world emit various electromagnetic energies. For example, an atom can give off invisible field of energy at different frequency that include X-rays, gamma rays, ultraviolet rays, and infrared rays, as well as visible light rays. And just as the invisible radio is carrying a frequency with a specific information encoded into it, each different frequency likewise carries specific diverse information. So X-rays very different information, infrared. So because they are all these fields are different energy patterns that are always giving of information at atomic levels. Think of atoms as vibrating field of energy or small, but they are constantly spinning. To better understand how that works, let us use the analogy of fan. Just like a circular fan creates when it's turned on, each atom as it spins radiate a field of energy in the similar fashion. And just like a fan can spin at different speeds and also create a stronger and weaker wind, atoms also vibrate at different frequencies that create stronger weaker fields. The faster the atom vibrates, the greater the energy and frequency it emits. So, however, this also means that you create by default as well. If you, as a quantum observer, look at your life from the same level of mind every day, then according to the quantum model of reality, you are causing the infinite possibility collapse into the same pattern of information day in and day out. Those patterns which you call your life never change, so they are never allowed to you affect the change. In the quantum physics, matter is defined as a solid particle, and the immaterial energy field of information can be defined as a wave. When we study the physical properties of atom, like mass of looks like a physical matter, slower the frequency that an atom is vibrating, the more time it spends in physical reality, and the more it appears as a particle that we can See the solid matter. The reason physical matter appears solid to us, even though it is mostly energy, is that all atoms are vibrating at same speed as we are. So, but atoms also display many properties of energies or waves, including the faster an atom vibrate and the more energy it generate, the less time it spend physical it appearing and disappearing too fast for us. So because it's vibrating a much faster speed than we are, but even though we can't see the energy itself, we can sometimes see physical evidence of certain frequencies of energy, because the force field of an atom can create a physical property such as the way infrared waves heat things. If you compare, you can see how slower frequencies spend more time in the material world and thus matter. So the physical universe may look as if it's made up of only material matter, but in the truth, it shares a field of information that unifies matter and energy so immediately that impossible to consider them in a separate entity. That's because all particles are connected in the immaterial, invisible field of information beyond space and time. That field is made up of consciousness and energy, because each atom has its own specific field of energy or energetic signature. When atoms assemble collectively to form a molecule, they share their field of information and then radiate their own unique combined energy patterns. If everything material in the universe radiate a specific unique energy. So when you change your energy to alter a belief or a perception about yourself or your life, you are actually increasing the frequency of the atoms and molecules of your physical body, so that you are amplifying your energy field. You are tuning up the speed on the atomic fans that makes your body as you embrace a heightened emotional creative state like inspiration, empowerment and gratitude or invisibility. You are causing your atoms spin faster, just like the fan blades to the board cause a stronger energy field around your body, which affects your physical matter. So the physical particles makes up your body are now responding to elevated energy. You are becoming more energy and less matter. You are now more wave and less particle. Using your consciousness, you are creating more energy so that matter can be lifted to new frequency. Your body respond to new mind, receiving the right energetic signal. So, how does matter become lifted to new mind? Think of the preacher who moves into a state of religious drinks and sterilize with no blind effect. How did he overcome that chemistry that would normally present average person? It was his a level of energy that transcended affect the matter. He made decision with such a frame, intention, choice carried, and amplitude of energy that transcend.